tension today, external forces hyping up territorial disputes in South China Sea. With the intervention of the United States and the so-called Indo-Pacific strategy, we have escalation in South China Sea, said Cui Tiankai, former Chinese ambassador to the United States, in an interview with CGTN host Xu Qingduo on the sidelines of the 2024 Shangri-La Dialogue. China has been committed to resolving disputes with claimant countries through peaceful and diplomatic solutions, he said. However, the United States and other external countries are playing a destructive role and hyping up the situation. Beijing on Monday said that Washington was playing an extremely ignoble role in backing Manila in the disputed South China Sea, days after the Philippine leader warned of a red line, what it would consider an act of war in the strategic waterway. Driven by selfish geopolitical calculations, the U.S. has played an extremely ignoble role by supporting and assisting the Philippines in infringing on China's sovereignty, and by exploiting the South China Sea issue to drive a wedge between China and other regional countries, a spokesperson for China's foreign ministry said in response to a speech by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. In the keynote address Friday at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, Marcos warned Beijing that if a Philippine citizen were to be deliberately killed in a clash with the China Coast Guard, this would be very close to what we define as an act of war. Manila would respond accordingly, while its treaty ally, the United States, would hold the same standard and support the Philippines in any joint action, Marcos told the Regional Security Conference, which brings together defense chiefs and senior officials from across the globe. In recent months, tensions between Beijing and Manila have soared in the strategically and economically important South China Sea, where both have overlapping claims with collisions at sea by government vessels near key military outposts. In particular, a submerged reef known as Second Thomas Shoal has become a dangerous flashpoint, as Chinese vessels harass ships aiming to resupply a Philippine garrison atop a rusting World War II-era ship that Manila purposely grounded in 1999 in a bid to assert sovereignty over the atoll, which is also claimed by China. Beijing claims some 90% of the South China Sea, which is home to crucial trade routes, though Manila insists that the Second Thomas Shoal falls within its exclusive economic zone, which extends 200 nautical miles, 370 kilometers from its coast, citing the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, as well as a 2016 international arbitral ruling in favor of the Philippines in the waterway. Marcos has vowed to do whatever it takes to protect our sovereign home to the last square inch, to the last square millimeter. Those moves have angered China, and the Chinese Foreign Ministry reiterated Monday that it views the arbitral ruling as illegal, null and void. China's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights and interests in the South China Sea are based on solid historical and legal grounds, the spokesperson said, adding that the responsibility for the recent escalation concerning the South China Sea issue lies fully with the Philippine side. Amid a series of clashes between the Philippines and China in the waters, fears have grown of a larger crisis erupting, including one that draws at the United States, which has a mutual defense treaty with Manila. The U.S. has doubled down on its commitment to defending the Philippines in the South China Sea, saying repeatedly that any attack on Philippine aircraft, vessels, or armed forces in the South China Sea would invoke the Mutual Defense Pact. China has reacted furiously to the moves, alleging that the moves by the U.S. are part of a concerted attempt by Washington and its allies and partners to contain, encircle, and suppress the Asian powerhouse. Who exactly does the Philippine foreign policy serve now? Whose bidding is the Philippines doing with all these maritime actions? The answer is pretty clear to anyone with sound judgment, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman alleged. The Sino-US rivalry was on full display at the Singapore Security Conference over the weekend, with the country's defense chiefs delivering markedly different messages as the two superpowers continue to talk past each other. But China also came under fire during the conference from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who on Sunday used a speech during a surprise visit to Singapore to lament Beijing's unwillingness to use its sway with Moscow to help end Russia's cruel war ahead of a peace conference later this month. While a number of Western leaders are expected to join the June 15 to 16 peace summit in Switzerland, U.S. President Joe Biden is unlikely to attend, dispatching what Zelensky said Sunday would be a high-level official instead. China, on the other hand, has said it will not send any representative, according to the Ukrainian leader. Zelensky on Monday also held talks with Marcos in Manila, thanking the Philippines for its clear position on Russia's invasion of the country and for committing to attending this month's peace conference.